Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. And today, in this video, man, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about the NFL today. We're going to talk about Lamar Jackson this morning. And I meant to do this video yesterday, and I messed it up, man. I forgot to do it. But I wanted to do a video before the NFL season officially started. But if you guys don't know, man, the NFL season officially kicked off last night. Ravens versus Chiefs. The Chiefs won a very close game, 27-20. And that was the first game of the NFL season, man. Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes, man. And I wanted to talk about Lamar Jackson in this video. I want to focus on him. And to me, there's no excuses anymore for Lamar Jackson. I think this guy's always getting excuses made for him. And there is really no excuses for Lamar Jackson. I hear a lot of people talking about, Lamar Jackson has to figure out Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And they make it seem as if Patrick Mahomes has been standing directly in front of Lamar Jackson and has been the reason why Lamar Jackson has not been able to make a Super Bowl or even really progress in the postseason or have any kind of postseason success. And that really hasn't been the case, guys. And we're going to talk about it in this video. Lamar Jackson, there really are no excuses for Lamar Jackson anymore. This man needs to show improvement. He needs to do something and earn the accolades that he's received in his career. This man has some crazy accolades. We're going to talk about this video, guys, briefly. And I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states has been supporting my channel. I know you guys have been hitting me up in the comment section asking me to do some football stuff. And I'm a huge NFL fan. So I think I'm going to start doing some football stuff this season. I've done football videos in the past, but it's not something that I regularly do. But you guys have been asking me about football, to talk about football. So I'm going to start doing some football videos, man. In this video, we're going to talk about Lamar Jackson, guys. So thank you for all you guys for support, man. Much respect, man. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, man, I wanted to do a video on Lamar Jackson, how there are no more excuses for Lamar Jackson, man. I don't want to hear any more excuses for Lamar Jackson. Now, this is not a knock video on Lamar Jackson. I like Lamar Jackson. I've been rooting for Lamar Jackson since he came out of Louisville. I rooted for him at Louisville. Like I said, I liked his overall game. He reminded me of a Michael Vick type player, man. I used to like guys like Randall Cunningham, the Steve Youngs, the guys that could scramble. I used to love guys that could run around, not necessarily just scramble, but they could run the football, man. I always liked those dual threat quarterbacks, the Cordell Stewarts, man. Like I said, man, I really respected the guys that could go out there and really do things with their legs like that. And like I said, Lamar Jackson's probably the most dynamic runner since probably a Michael Vick, man. So I'm a fan of Lamar Jackson. Like I said, I was always rooting for him. But at this point in time of Lamar Jackson's career, this man has to show improve. And this man's getting a lot of excuses made for him over the years. They've excused him and his lack of postseason success. A lot of excuses. And one of the main excuses I hear is that, Patrick Mahomes is in his way. I hear a lot of people saying that, oh, man, he's got to get past Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have been standing in his way. And that's not really an accurate or valid statement if you really think about Lamar Jackson's career, guys. If you think about his lack of postseason success, they want you to believe, or they make it seem as if he's lost to the Kansas City Chiefs every single year that he's been in the postseason. And that's nowhere near the case, guys. That is nowhere near the reality of Lamar Jackson's career. Now, last night, the Ravens lost. I think it was 27-20, and, the touchdown at the end got, overturned, whatever, because the guy's foot was on the out of bounds line. I think it's clear as day. But here goes Lamar Jackson coming to the post-game press conference talking about, I still believe it was a touchdown. Dude, what are you, an idiot? I tell you, man, Lamar Jackson, to me, is not that intelligent. When I hear him speak, once again, another guy that you can't really listen to talk because he's talks like an idiot to me. It doesn't really sound good. He's not really motivational when I hear Lamar Jackson speak, man. Like I say, he doesn't really sound like an educated person or someone who knows how to speak, like I said, articulately. But he was talking about it. He sort of believed there was a touchdown when it was clear as day the guy's foot was on the line, man. But whatever. It's one game of a 17-game season. We get that. No one's knocking Lamar Jackson for losing last night to the Kansas City Chiefs, who are a really good team. But this is more of the same for Lamar Jackson. And when it really matters most, Lamar Jackson has not really performed up to the level like he has during the regular season. And for me, Lamar Jackson is becoming a regular season hero. He's a regular season MVP, but in the postseason, he's not an MVP, right? He's the opposite of that. And I wrote down some of these things here just to make sure I got this correct, just to highlight and show you guys that's not Patrick Mahomes standing in Lamar Jackson's way. It's not Patrick Mahomes. It's been Lamar Jackson standing in his own way, not raising his level of play, not earning those MVPs, these all-pro selections, all the hype that this man's gotten since he came into the league, essentially, as a Heisman Trophy winner. So in 2018, when the Ravens made the playoffs, right, they lost in the first round, right, to the Los Angeles Chargers, led by a 37-year-old Phillip Rivers. So it was not Patrick Mahomes that beat Lamar Jackson, the Ravens. It was, in fact, a 37-year-old Phillip Rivers leading the Chargers to a win over the Ravens. And I believe in that game, Lamar Jackson got sacked like 7 times. I believe he had 3 fumbles. I want to say they were losing 23-3. Like most of that game, the score is not really indicative of the game. They were losing 23-3 up until like the fourth quarter, where I think they scored a couple of touchdowns at the end of the game to make the score look respectable. But the Chargers beat the Ravens, not the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. The Chargers beat the Ravens, and Lamar Jackson, like I said, had 7 sacks, 3 fumbles in that game. And his defense, I believe that season, the Ravens had the number 2 defense, and Lamar Jackson could only muster 17 points in that postseason game. All right, no doubt, man. It's 1 loss. No big deal, man. It's the NFL. It wasn't Patrick Mahomes who beat him, right? Let's think about the very next season, right? They would lose to the Tennessee Titans, guys. The Tennessee Titans, not the Kansas City Chiefs. It was Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans, not Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And they would beat the Ravens 28-12 to 12. The Ravens mustered 12 points during that game, guys. 12 points for Lamar Jackson. 12. The Ravens, I believe, had the number 3 defense that season. I believe Lamar Jackson threw 2 interceptions in that game, and I believe he was sacked 4 times in that game. So when we talk about these things, this shows you and highlights what I'm talking about. Lamar Jackson now raising his level of play, and they're making excuses for him. There's no excuse when you had the number 1 offense, I believe, that season. I believe they were averaging 33 points a game that season, the Ravens. And they only scored 12 points in the first round, in their first playoff game. 12 points, guys, against the Tennessee Titans, and they lost 28-12, guys. Once again, I believe it might have even been 28-6. For most of that game up until the end of the game, like I said, when they scored a BS touchdown. So it was really a 28-6 butt kicking by the Titans. Once again, not the Kansas City Chiefs beating Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. It was once again another team, a lesser team that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens should have beaten. But they did not win because Lamar Jackson did not play up to snuff, right? It's one of the main reasons. Let's think about the next season. They would lose, they would win the first round. They would win their first playoff game under Lamar Jackson. I believe they beat the Tennessee Titans the very next season. I believe it was 20-13. If I remember correctly, the game was. And they beat the Tennessee Titans. Okay, whoop-de-doo. You beat Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans, a team that you're supposed to beat. Okay, so they win that game, but then they would lose the next game to the Buffalo Bills. Not Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. To Jared Allen and the Buffalo Bills, who were a formidable team, but the Ravens, once again, were a superior team. They should have probably beaten the Buffalo Bills. I believe the Bills had the 16th ranked defense that year. I believe the Ravens had the number 2 ranked defense that season. So once again, as you guys can tell, Lamar Jackson has been playing with a top 3 defense every single one of these seasons, guys. This isn't Lamar Jackson carrying a mediocre defense or a bad team to the playoffs. These guys are a top-notch defense consistently since he's been on the Ravens, with a decent receiving core, really good tight ends, solid lines, a good coaching staff, a good run organization. So there really are no excuse anymore for Lamar Jackson. When you read and look at these losses, it's not the Kansas City Chiefs that's beating him here. It's the Buffalo Bills, and they lost 17-3, guys. 17-3. They only managed 3 points. Lamar Jackson's team managed 3 points, and in that game, he had 0 touchdowns. I believe he had 1 interception. I believe he was sacked 3 times in that game. 3 points. Even though his defense held the Bills to 17, Lamar Jackson offense, the high-flying offense of Lamar Jackson, couldn't manage more than 3 points. 3 points. Once again, not getting beat by the Kansas City Chiefs or Patrick Mahomes to Jared Allen. The next season, they missed the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, I believe, missed like 5 games that year. He only played 12 games. They didn't miss the playoffs. Then the next year, same thing with Lamar Jackson. He missed 5 games again. I believe they were 8-4 under Lamar Jackson, and then they made the playoffs. I believe they won, I want to say, 2 of the last 5 games, and I think they went 10-7 to make the playoffs. If I remember, I can't remember correctly, guys, but I know they ended up making the playoffs without Lamar Jackson and losing to the Bengals. So we won't put that on Lamar Jackson, but once again, it goes to Lamar Jackson, the lack of durability sometimes with this guy because of the way that he plays the game. Running around, even last night, this guy was taking hits that he probably shouldn't have taken. Taking hits, lowering his shoulder, thinking he's tough. Dude, this is why you get hurt. This is why your game fumbles up when it matters most. In those 2 seasons, in 2021, 2022, he missed 5 games in each season, guys. And once again, they lost the first round to the Bengals, not the Chiefs or Patrick Mahomes. It was Joe Burrow and the Bengals. And then just last season was the first year that Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, actually lost to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the NFC Championship game, if I remember correctly. They lost 17-10. So once again, at home against the Chiefs, You have a home field advantage. Lamar Jackson scores 10 points on his home field to a Kansas City Chiefs team. I believe the Ravens had the #1 defense last year, guys. The #1 defense. I believe their offense averaged, 28 points a game that season, but they only matched 10 points in the NFC Championship. 10 points, guys, for Lamar Jackson. After his defense held the Kansas City Chiefs to 17 points. Held them to 17 points. Lamar Jackson could not score more than 10 points, could not lead the Ravens offense to more than 10 points. And that was the only time that Lamar Jackson lost to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the postseason. One time. And I believe they beat the Houston Texans in the first round, the Ravens. So he beat a rookie quarterback last year in the first round to make it to the conference, or the second round, whatever it was, the divisional round, to go to the NFC Championship game. Not impressed. So as you guys can see here, if we dig deeper into these games, if you watch these games, what you'll notice with Lamar Jackson, some of the things you noticed last night, he holds the ball a lot. In a lot of these games, that was part of the problem for him. That's why he's taking all these sacks, fumbling the ball. He's very nonchalant. He's with the football in his hands. A lot of times I'm watching Lamar Jackson, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's so nonchalant out there. Sometimes it looks like he's playing with a lot of hubris, a lot of arrogance, because he thinks he's faster than everybody and he could, shake these guys and get a bounce here. But once again, Lamar Jackson takes unnecessary hits sometimes. He lowers his shoulder into people. Like when people think he's going out of bounds. I hate when quarterbacks do that, right? The defender thinks you're running out of bounds. And at the last minute, they want to dip their shoulder into the defender and then act like they're tough. And Lamar Jackson did that last night, man. It's corny as hell. But like I said, if you break down these games, he's throwing more interceptions than touchdowns. He's fumbling the ball. He's getting sacked all over the field. Lamar Jackson throws a lot of lob passes, so it takes a little bit longer for it to get to his receiver. So they're waiting for the ball. Even last night, you notice when he throws the ball, it's a lob a lot of times. It's very soft. Instead of putting a little bit more oomph on it and get it to his receiver so he can catch it and make a move, they have to wait for the ball to get to them oftentimes. And as soon as they catch it and turn, they're getting hit, or the defender's right there, because Lamar Jackson lobbing these balls up, man. He throws a nice ball, but it's a lob. And once again, relying on his legs ain't going to get the job done. He had over 100 rushing yards last night, but they still lost the game. And I believe he threw the ball 41 times last night. It's absolutely insane. If anyone believes that Lamar Jackson throwing the ball 35, 40 times, 30 times is going to win them the championship, it's not going to happen. He's not that kind of thrower to be throwing 30, 40 times a game. And once again, Lamar Jackson's been exposed. And this is why I say he's been exposed, guys. Once again, this is not knocking Lamar Jackson. These are the facts. This man has 2 MVPs on his belt. 2 MVPs, guys. I don't think people realize how difficult it is to win an MVP in the NFL, and how much how 2 MVPs is. John Elway, I believe, has 1 MVP, guys. I believe Dan Marino only won 1 MVP. I don't believe Terry Bradshaw ever won an MVP. Troy Aikman never won an MVP. I believe Steve Young has 2 MVPs. Okay, guys? So when you think about some of these players that have won MVPs, Lamar Jackson's won more MVPs than a lot of these really great Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I don't believe Roger Staubach ever won an MVP. But here's Lamar Jackson with 2 MVPs, guys. 2. Even though the man's only won 2 playoff games. 2 playoff games. And if you look at his postseason numbers, he's thrown 6 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, guys. And by comparison, I wrote this down. Joe Burrow, his young career, 9 TDs to 4 interceptions. Jared Allen, his young career, 21 TDs to 4 interceptions. And really do we need to mention Patrick Mahomes, 41 TDs to 8 interceptions. But here goes Lamar Jackson with 2 MVP trophies, 6 touchdowns with 6 interceptions, guys. That's mediocrity at its finest, guys. That's literally the definition of mediocrity. But here goes Lamar Jackson with 2 MVP trophies under his belt to his name. If you took off Lamar Jackson's name and you looked at his accolades, you would think this man has multiple Super Bowl wins. He's a 2-time All-Pro selections, 2-time All-Pro, guys. Not Pro Bowl. We're talking about All-Pro. If you know anything about the NFL, All-Pro means that you're the best player at your position in the entire NFL, guys. Not just in the AFC or the NFC. The entire NFL, you're the best player at your position. That's what it means to be All-Pro. Okay? I believe Tom Brady was All-Pro 3 times, I think. I think Patrick Mahomes has been All-Pro 5 times in his career. And Lamar Jackson has 2 All-Pro selections. 2, guys. I think the most All-Pro selections for a quarterback, I believe, is Peyton Manning with 7. Joe Montana, I believe, has 5. Lamar Jackson has 2, guys. More all-pro selections than many all-time great quarterbacks, guys. Many quarterbacks that were greater than Lamar Jackson at throwing the football, at actually passing, that have actually won championships, won Super Bowls. They did not make the all-pro team 2 times like Lamar Jackson, or even sniff MVPs, or multiple MVPs like a Lamar Jackson. But here goes Lamar Jackson with all these accolades, all this hype this man's gotten, but in the postseason, he hasn't done anything. He's literally done nothing in the postseason, guys. He's underachieved. He hasn't lived up to the hype. He's had really good defenses on his team, so let's not blame the defenses here, because we know that NFL is an ultimate team sport. We can't put 100% of the blame on Lamar Jackson. But when you look at his regular season accolades, the numbers he puts up in the regular season, and then you look at the postseason, it's night and day, guys. Night and day. He can't be excused for this. He's not living up to the regular season, so he's looking like a regular season hero. And he's collecting these accolades, all-pro selections, 2-time MVP winner. It's insane, guys. Drew Brees never won an MVP. But Lamar Jackson has multiple MVPs, guys. Multiple. Never sniffed a Super Bowl. Never sniffed it. And look at the numbers he's putting up. 17 points to the Chargers, 12 points to the Titans, 3 points to the Bills, and 10 points to the Chiefs. These are the numbers he's putting up. Not scoring any points, not giving your team a chance to win. Meanwhile, your defense is holding teams to 23, 17 points. Keeping you in games. And you can't muster more than 20 points? You couldn't even score more than 17 points in most of these games. He's throwing interceptions. He's fumbling the ball all over the place. He's holding the ball too long, taking sacks. This Lamar Jackson, guys. And last night was more the same. Holding the ball here and there. Like I said, throwing the ball 41 times. That's not going to get it done. That's not how Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are going to win. So I don't want to hear no more excuses from Lamar Jackson or for Lamar Jackson about, him and, Patrick Mahomes is standing in his way. He's got to figure out, I saw an article about, he's got to figure out Lamar Jackson's a Patrick Mahomes problem. No, Lamar Jackson's a Lamar Jackson problem. And then, like I said, he talks with a lot of arrogance in these post-game press conferences, and he's very nonchalant with the football during the games on the field, man, sometimes. So much respect to Lamar Jackson, man. Like I said, I'm rooting for him this year. This year, he's got to get it done, man. Lamar Jackson needs to make a Super Bowl. He needs to lead this team to a Super Bowl. There's no more excuses. You're playing a really good organization with good players around you, with good defenses, good special team. I mean, you got one of the greatest kickers of your era. The guy, Justin Tucker, never misses. Now, he missed last night. He missed 1 field goal. But the man is money. I think he has the highest field goal percentage in the history of the NFL. He's one of the elite kickers. So there's really no excuses. You have a really good coach. And as I said, you're playing for a really good organization. The Ravens have been relevant for years, guys. They've been relevant since like 2000. They've been literally relevant every single season and competitive every single season. Joe Flacco led them to a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson got to get it done. No more excuses, man. This is a big year for Lamar Jackson, man. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.